We're in the fourth year of our mandate. Mind you, our adversaries have been asking for an election campaign for about a year now. They've been clamoring for it. Interestingly enough, once the campaign's launched, of course, they don't want an election campaign. It's not a good idea for all other sorts of reasons. That being said, with what has happened in the spring and the circumstances of an economy that is threatened with what is happening in Europe, Asia, in the United States, now is the time for the silent majority to speak. In the last spring, in the last few months, we've heard a lot from a number of student leaders. We've heard from people in the street. We've heard from those who have been hitting away at pots and pans. Now is the time for the silent majority to speak. And the question is, the issues are fairly straightforward. Like Madame Marois says, you have a right to choose, le droit de choisir. Do we want the street and a referendum, or do you want jobs or the economy? Do we want the street and referendums, or do we want democracy? For those who want a referendum, they can stay home on election day in certain cases and not come out to vote. And they'll thus be encouraging Madame Marois to hold a referendum. And there are those who will vote PQ. And there are those who will vote for jobs in the economy and will vote for democracy. And those Quebecers will support us.
Why won't you talk about corruption?
Well, we've already addressed this issue through a number of laws we've passed through the Commission Charbonneau, l'unité spéciale anti-corruption. There is not a government in the history of Quebec that has done more than we have for an issue, by the way, that has existed before we came to government and exists elsewhere in the world. And having done all of that, I'm ready to debate that issue. But let's also understand what Madame Marois is trying to do. She has no economic plan and no economic team. I have never in my lifetime seen the Parti Québécois and one of its leaders present themselves in front of the electorate with absolutely nothing to say about the economy. Even René Lévesque in 1976, in the circumstances that we know, had more to say about the economy than Pauline Marois. What is she hiding behind that, by the way? She would dearly like to hide the fact she's holding a referendum. Only, thank Bernard Drainville, who, speaking to a newspaper from Ontario, the Globe and Mail, was kind enough to reveal the strategy. One thing that Madame Marois and I agree on, you know what? Vous avez le droit de choisir.